There are a few facts of life that everybody must learn to accept, such as there are no good or bad people, only predators and prey. And if you can learn to accept and understand that, then you can definitely learn to accept and understand the taste of bad coffee. Dormouse was written and directed by Avon Joja, who played Leon Kennedy in the Resident Evil Raccoon City movie. I'm also pretty certain I probably butchered his name. I do apologize. He also plays a character named Mooney, not Sean Mooney. Who? Bobby Heenan quotes. Nothing like a great Bobby Heenan quote or a series of Bobby Heenan quotes. If you're a longtime wrestling fan like me, then let me know your favorite Bobby Heenan quote in the comments, please. But back to Dormouse. There is Haley Law, who plays Mouse, or Mousy, or Dormouse. She goes by a few names here. And this is a neo-film noir that's set in, well, not even the not-too-distant future next Sunday AD. It's set in a very seedy area that involves burlesque work and human trafficking. And a lot of really, really messed up shit. Famke Janssen is in this, and she looks incredible. She is approaching 60 years old and looks absolutely incredible. She was in the X-Men movies, and she was also in something that I really, really enjoyed, Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. I will always say that this movie is a whole lot of fun, by no means good. She was great in this, and she was also great in Dormouse. And also, there was a character named Ugly, played by Keith Powers. Boy, that must have been a hell of a goddamn sales pitch. Hey, Mr. Powers, we have a role for you. We think you'd be great in this movie. Oh boy, what do I get to play? We want you to play a character named Ugly. Oh. If you look at Mr. Powers, he's anything but ugly. He's quite a handsome man. I'd love to see him in more movies. And there's also a character named Riz, who has very short green hair, played by Michaela Cannon, who is gorgeous. Good grief, put her in more movies. Please feature her in more movies. So yes, it's involving the seedy underbelly of burlesque work, and with a film noir feel, and also very, very creepy people, very, very rich people, who try to get all these girls and men and be wealthy people. Okay, I really can't do the Gwen Stefani reference there. It doesn't really work. But yes, various people are disappearing off the streets. Girls are just trying to make a living, including this one character, Doe Eyes, that was very central to Famke Janssen's, her character, Mama Herbar, and Mousy says, hey, I want to go and find out what the hell happened. So as the search goes on, we also see various comic book style sequences because Mouse happens to be a comic book designer. She happens to be, a pretty goddamn good illustrator. I mean, assuming she actually drew that stuff and it wasn't somebody else, I don't actually know. If she drew it, great. Whoever drew it, they're really goddamn talented. Give them some work. And it bounces around a little bit. We get a lot of narration stuff, film noir style. And the characters are your typical film noir cliches. And the movie doesn't necessarily reinvent the wheel. I mean, this is basically just an updated 1930s and 40s and maybe even early 50s film noir gangsta style movie with the Tommy guns. Oh, you'll never take me alive, coppers! But it ends up actually being something that was quite good. Bit anticlimactic there, but it actually was quite good. I'm not going to say it was perfect. I have a few issues with it. I think there were a few tonal problems and a few, not even weird shifts. I just think eventually the cliches kind of wore it down, but it had heart, had some good performances, but it also seemed to just take things, do one particular scene, and then we just totally forgot about it. Like they introduced a whole bunch of things and then just went away from that and never came back to it. It tried to pack a lot in, Human Centipede, all these things together, but some things it didn't let breathe, and it let some things breathe a little bit too much. There was one particular creepy sequence when we delve more into the human trafficking part of it, where you're like, holy shit, this is actually really goddamn creepy. Those are very unsettling looks, masks, all that stuff. I'll get into spoilers in a little bit. But it has style, it has panache. I love the comic book style sequences. I think had this movie had a little bit more money behind it, they maybe could have done more with it. I'm not knocking the movie. The movie is very well done for being an independent suspense drama film noir with a little bit of horrifying, stuff to it. It's not necessarily shocking what with the twists and everything. I mean, you can pretty much see everything coming from a mile away. It is a very simple story at the end of the day. But Haley Law and Keith Powers do help, anchor this whole thing. And I do once again want to say, there were other good performances. Miss Johnson did the best. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that right. I don't think I've ever gotten her name right in a review, but she is just incredibly gifted. and gorgeous, good grief. But there's a lot of heart to it, and they play their roles well, and it ends up being something quite good. It's available on Amazon for a few bucks. I think it's like 5 or 6. Worth it. I mean, more than worth it. I mean, I definitely got my money's worth, and considering the dreck that you could find in the Amazon movie pit, this ended up being something quite surprising. Not perfect, but well done, and I would like to see what else Mr. Avon can do in the future. Maybe he can make more movies. I mean, he certainly tried to make the most of the Leon Kennedy role in Resident Evil Raccoon City, and let's see what else Haley Law can do. And Mr. Powers, maybe get him something other than the character called Ugly. I mean, the whole point, it was a play on words. He's actually a very handsome guy, but nevertheless, ends up being quite fun. Nothing great, but something quite fun. So, I am going to get into spoilers here. It's on Amazon for a few bucks if you want to check it out. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. Okay, so this whole thing run by Mama, Miss Johnson's character. She's like, oh, Mousy, you shouldn't go digging around in a whole bunch of this stuff. You really shouldn't. It's like, let it be, let it be. Oh, just let these girls be human slaves. Let it be. And there's the character of Mooney, played by the director, who deals in drugs and everything, and also him and Mouse have a bit of a weird relationship, and then Mouse and Ugly have a bit of a relationship as well, but she's very guarded and everything, very steadfast, a strong, independent woman that don't need no man, but she ends up needing to get help from various characters, and there's silly names for characters like Crawdaddy, and there's the Dame, and she heads this whole Sophia Hotel human trafficking run. And actually that ends up being the kind of surprisingly creepy thing about it is at one point after finding out that Riz was killed, which I was disappointing, but you need to kill somebody to basically come up with that, or basically come up with a reason for Mouse to go into, want to go into the hotel. She ends up getting captured. And what ends up happening is she does find somehow this Doe-Eyes character is still alive. They manage to escape, but then she gets captured a little bit later. Too many pronouns, pal. Damn it, Vince McMahon. Mouse ends up getting captured. The Dame basically offers, hey, you and this guy Ugly, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you go, but you need to get the hell away from here because without saying it, she's basically scared of her bringing down her operation, even though she says, you will never bring down my operation. But I do want to just go back a little bit and say the silent auction scene, people holding up cards, credit cards, or whatever the hell it was, bidding on these women and not doing anything. The only sound you hear is, you hear, whoo, 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 from the guy doing that, but you get the applause whenever a transaction is made, and that's really goddamn frightening when you think about it. And they end up escaping, or she ends up escaping with Doe-Eyes somehow very easily, and jumping out of at least a 2-3 story window, and they're okay. They land on the pavement barefoot, and a little bit weird there. And the Dame basically says, well, who do you think sold him to me? It turns out it was Mama, because she was trying to save the bar, and she sold off people under the guise of it being somebody else. So she gets shot, and then her and Ugly are talking. Mouse and Ugly are talking, and he's like, look, I'm not going to leave you. Oh, don't worry, we'll get on the train. They got to get on the train going anywhere, but nope. Ugly wasn't going to get on the train because Mouse wasn't there. She went and shot the Dame at the house. And that's pretty much the movie right there. Did she get besieged by the rest of the people? Was everybody just scared of the fact that, oh shit, this person that brought this operation to us is suddenly dead? Maybe they all scattered. Maybe they all fell, exploded like at the end of Ready or Not. Sorry, the movie's been out for 4 years, so you should have known the end by now. That being said, quite good. The soundtrack choices also fit. A lot of yelling punk rock. Not really sure why the Big Mouth song was, and I'm not talking about the series, but was just so screamy. But that being said, it was good. The comic book style and stuff, it ended up being overall pretty goddamn good. Great, great is a relative term. You can let me know what you guys have to say in the comments. It gets a B+ from me for the style, and again, not reinventing the wheel, but ended up being something quite good. Let's see what else the director can do. Let's see what else the cast can do. This was actually quite good. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Recklin. I'll see you soon.